Cool. Oh, real quick. Just the bag and the leash is all she came with?
Yes.
Okay, nothing else, no toys and I think, I'm not sure what happened. Someone told you that she ran out of food this week?
Kim, well, I brought some yesterday. I think she just emailed me and said that they found food because I brought that bag yesterday.
Oh, so there's another bag you need?
Unless that's not the one that I brought her.
Okay.
Because when I talked to the guy, or Kim, she said she didn't have me for dinner. So
Okay.
she finished with her breakfast yesterday morning.
Okay.
So I brought some yesterday afternoon.
Okay, but that's all you have right now. This is all the stuff you bought. And a flat collar. One second.
Now, did you guys work with her on walking on the leash?
The gentle leader is what you're gonna want to use.
Okay.
Because this one is, all puppies are different. Some puppies, like right now we have it's like a pointer hunting dog mix. The ones that get the mustache and everything. He is all muscle and he's younger than her and he just pulls because he's a working dog.
Yeah.
So that flat collar is going to damage his trachea. So then we always go for the gentle leader. So this is this is just like a band-aid for now for puppies. But this is not a correction tool. This doesn't stop pulling, it just doesn't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
So we only use this for puppies, because then this is just, again, doesn't really get the point across, because once you control the head, which is her, her muzzle goes here, and this goes behind. Once you control the head, you control the body. So, Bailey.
Baby.
Come on. So it goes over the head, or over the nose, and then behind here. So when she pulls, it'll just go like this, then she can't pull you. So it'll be this until she reaches about 6 months. And if, seeing how she is without the gentle leader, if she's still pulling, then you can take a step forward to progress to the leash walking and do prong.
Okay.
After prong, then we go to the e-collar. I think you guys know we train e-collars or something like that. Then you go to e-collar and then all the other fancy stuff. But right now, she's a puppy, right? Gently would be your best option. And although we do teach her like all these commands like sit down, stay, place, and we do a little bit of, we call it the long leash, I wouldn't be too focused on it. I'd be more focused on like continuing the potty training and then stopping like bad behaviors. Because while she's young, right, because she's gonna get bigger. And let's say she's still like chewing and jumping, she's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's gonna be a problem. So right now, as she's a little puppy, you wanna address these behaviors. And don't be too focused on the obedience because you can only do so much with the food stuff, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, for the pulling and the leash walking, there was a gentle leader. Another way we got her acclimated fast with the gentle leader is what we did is we had this set up, but we put the leash on the gentle leader, obviously, and we put her on the treadmill.
Okay.
She was on the treadmill, feeling this tension, so she said, okay. So it was getting more acclimation because sometimes when it's really hot for the past few weeks, we just did the treadmill stuff for her just to get that exercise one, and then getting her acclimated to the gentle leader.
Okay.
Any questions? Any other questions?
No, that was my concern because my daughter wants to walk her.
Yeah, that would definitely.
She pulls, so you waiting for a treat? How bad?
Any questions about the videos or anything else?
Is there a way to handle a situation where she has too much? Let's say we take her to a dog park, she has crazy energy, right? And is there a way to kind of get her to kind of calm down a little bit, or how do we react to that?
Yeah.
To prevent like any fights in the park or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's a little more difficult because here, right, with all the puppies, we can control it because I know the dogs, they're under our care. We have the permission to correct behaviors, correct mounting, biting, lunging, or if a dog looks uncomfortable, this dog keeps pursuing, we can correct that, right, for the safety of the dogs. At the dog park, I don't know the dogs, the owners don't know me, so it'd be really weird if I go and start like, like pushing a dog to get off my head. What are you doing to my dog? Like, your dog's bullying, but like people are pretty dumb, so they don't know what to look for, what is inappropriate, what's
Yeah.
Good or bad, right?
Yeah.
So for the dog park, it's pretty difficult.
Would you not
Or
recommend
even let's
dog park?
say, because we have a couple dogs at the house,
Yeah.
they're older dogs,
Oh, okay.
and
She's just really excited. She
she
wants
gets
to play.
excited, yeah, so I don't know how to react, because sometimes they don't, it's never been any tension,
Mm-hmm.
it's more of just, the other dogs kind of just correct her
Mm-hmm.
naturally, but getting her to, like, okay.
Just not do it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Um,
The proper way to do it.
Yeah, so do you guys watch Caesar Milan?
Yes.
Obsessed with this.
So his old stuff, I don't think he does it anymore, but he used to do like a touch, like, he goes shh and
Yeah.
touch, right?
Yeah.
So we do that here, right? All you have to do is just take your two pointer fingers, and then Bailey has her ribs, and you see right after, between the ribs and her hip, there's like that little dent, that soft spot.
Yeah.
You give that a poke. So dogs bite each other, like you said, they correct Bailey each other, right?
Yeah.
So what we're doing here, we do at the facility, is we can like let it happen, let a dog correct that dog, and it's nature, it's then they get the job done for us, but like we can't have dogs running home with bite marks or anything like that, right? So then what we do is we go ahead and we go and we see what works for certain dogs, right? Sometimes the poke is too much for like the little dogs, so we'll go, hey, give a clap, and they'll, oh, okay,
Yeah.
right? Make a sudden sound. Or, just like, move into the dog, and sometimes, puppies or dogs are just so like goofy, they don't understand discipline. They're so happy-go-lucky like Bailey is, right?
Yeah.
So, whoa. So they're not taking you serious, right? So then that's when you'll do like the poke to like, and like just tell her like stop, that's enough. And you don't need to say anything, you just poke her and that's all.
Same with like humans, kids, our kids, obviously the dog feeds off of their energy. Our kids are super
Yeah, it's
energy.
crazy.
She gets super chaotic,
Mhm.
so, it's a little harder with kids.
Yeah,
to show
it
the
is.
energy, so how would we,
It'd be the same thing.
okay.
Although the energy rises in the room, like when strangers, like right now there's 20 or 30 dogs right now, no one's barking. But usually when a guest walks in, wah, 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 and then we have to correct everyone,
Yeah.
right? But the guest is still here, we're not getting rid of the guest, guest is here. They usually bark a lot more when it's like a loud person or a tall man with a very deep voice, right? It's like whatever is more louder energy-wise. So we don't tell them to leave, we don't tell them to stop talking, we're just like, no, you just do your thing here if you gotta work in the facility or
So
like.
just focus more on her.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's realistic, she's
Yeah.
not, she's, where do you guys live, in the city
We're
or?
in Portage.
Portage Park, so like
So,
Montrose, Narragansett.
Montrose, by Montrose Beach?
No,
No.
we're further west.
we're by like the border of the city, by like Norridge.
Oh, okay. So it's good to get her acclimated to your environment now, because if she can handle all the kids screaming and remain like this, then when you take her to the city, it'll be like second nature to her. She's already used to the loudness and the energy that she'll be fine. So if you want to take her on the patio, and there's a little party going on, she's able to kind of just relax and not react and give to the energy.
So get her used to
Yeah.
loud places, okay.
Socialization is a very big part in a puppy's growing stage right here. So you see how she's on a leash,
Yeah.
right? This is something that we would not approve of, right? Because then you gotta buy a new leash or she might ingest
Yeah.
something, right? So then this is a moment where you can poke her.
Okay.
So harder than that.
Hard.
So this is Bailey, or like a dog, right?
Yeah,
Ooh,
okay.
right? It's
Okay,
a big
really?
poke.
Okay.
Yeah. And she might yell, she might go, "Ah," right?
Okay.
But what happens after the yell? That's what we're focusing on. So even like this whole time here, just her energy, she's super wiggly.
Yeah,
So it's a very like firm, and again, I don't care what she does in the moment, I care what happens after. Because if I poke her, and right there, she's just chewing the leash, but then you removed it yourself,
oh,
it didn't register, it didn't
Okay.
retain, and now she's still wiggling, right? Once we correct her, she might look depressed, right? It's not depressed, it's just calm, like, okay, I understand. So here's,
should I do it again?
Yeah.
I want her.
wait, good, that was better.
Yeah,
But you see, you didn't need to say anything,
yeah,
it's just a touch, that's all. So, we have, I don't know if we'll give information, but for certain behaviors like jumping, that's something owners usually want to eliminate.
yeah.
Chewing, eliminate. They don't want, because we have elimination and control. So like, for example, let's say Bailey, or like your other dogs, let's say they bark out the window when someone's passing by or knocks on the door.
Yes.
Usually owners like that because it's security. So they like the barking. some owners live in apartments and can't have barking at all. So it's eliminating or controlling it. Eliminating would be bark, bark, bark. Let's say for Bailey, poke, don't say anything. So it's an action, and then you get a consequence right after. Versus controlling is when bark, 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 enough, you say a cue, and then you correct. So technically they can bark, jump, chew, whatever, until they hear the word enough, because they know if that after enough is a correction. So for these little things, it's just correct, correct, correct. Just to
So
stop
if you
that.
want to eliminate, you correct. If you want to minimize, it's like a word,
Yes.
then correct.
Yes.
Because yeah, that's one of the things. My mom's dogs. Any person,
Yeah.
animal,
Dog,
they burn. They have no control.
she thinks it's cute, so
Yeah.
we don't want her to do it
Oh, yeah.
every time a dog walks by,
Mhm.
because she was starting to do it with the dog.
Oh.
And we were trying to get her to stop,
Mhm.
but she wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
So
So
we
is it-
can't, those other dogs is his mom's.
Mhm.
They're not our dogs. But we don't want her to
Yeah.
have that same behavior.
Gonna happen, yeah.
But she's gonna be around them.
Yeah. I would just correct her, because it'll be harder, because, like, what's the bark like? It's just like, are we barking? Bark? Like a weird.
Yeah, it's just annoying bark. It's not
They're-
aggressive bark. It's not like they want to fight bark. It's just kind of like somebody's walking by.
There's
Like, hey, get out of here.
So there's like as long as the dog is walking by, they're barking the whole time the dog is by the gate.
Yeah. Yeah, I just poke her, see what that does.
So just
That's like
focus
the-
on correct.
Yeah, because again, like, I mean, for the poke, it's easier puppies because I'm not expecting them to, because the issue is with the bigger dogs is that if a dog feels that and they're like, whoa, who are you? And then they bite me back, right? But the puppies, I don't expect that because they're little and we can kind of handle it and everything. But for the big dogs, we don't usually do that because then we're always expecting a correction back. Anytime we correct a dog, always expect one back for us.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I wouldn't do
Bigger
that.
dogs?
Say that?
With the bigger dogs?
Yeah, with the bigger dogs. Or just any, like, even if it's a little dog with a behavioral issue, expect a correction back.
How do you guys correct the bigger dog?
We usually ask for like tools, like prong collars
Okay.
or e-collars.
Okay.
Most of our dogs here are e-collar trained because we train them. So any dog with behavioral issues already have an e-collar on because they train with us and then they trust us because like, okay, well, I train with you, you know my dog, you train my dog, might as well just take him to your daycare, right? Other dogs who are disturbing our peace, like barking, whining, and then, you know, we ask them, hey, your dog is disturbing everything, like we need to correct a dog. Like, can we use e-collar or like a prong collar to just correct his behavior? And most of the time they're like, yeah, because that's the same thing at home. Like, yeah, it's at home, like, yes, please fix it. So then we do that. Other dogs here need like a program because they're so bad. So we had a daycare dog here that didn't want to go to the kennel, would growl, would bite us back, and we had the prong and everything, and didn't like getting corrected.
Mhm.
So, you know, you can only bring your dog here if you do a program for e-collar. And now he's still like risky because now he's just like whenever he wants, he'll do it. But now we have the tools and the knowledge, and he has a foundation of him like understanding, okay, we know how to control this now. What else? Any other questions? Any questions, Dana? So in the video, we talk about luring. So like just teaching Bailey to follow food. Because a lot of times when owners get puppies, they usually just teach them sit, and that's pretty much it. Like it's sit, 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 sit. So they sit for everything. Bailey had like that kind of issue where every time like I would want her to follow my hand, she would like sit and not want to move and be like, I'm sitting, give me the treat, give me the treat, right? So now when I move it, she should follow my hand, and then I can do other things with it. So then I can train spin, I can put her down and make her roll over, I can make her go between my legs, I can do other positions instead of just her opting for the sit. Now this is different. This is her saying, please, can I have a treat, right?
Yeah.
But luring, just teaching her to follow. So like for your kids, it's like playing with a puppy, right? It's just playing with a doll, like, you know, follow me, and then when she's followed you, right here, we mark it verbally, or if you have a clicker, like those, right? And then you give the reward. So once she follows me, yes, I let her have the treat, because I like what she did there. So as I keep repeating it, she's gonna learn, oh, follow, I get food now. Instead of like the sit, and just her being like, this is what I have to do, right? It's just more thinking for the puppies, more problem solving. And it's also getting them aware of their body mechanics. But we just did a lot of luring with her, and then once we got that down, then we went to actual commands and positioning. So like the sit is like, you know, up and over. The down is when we go low. What else? The sit pretty is when we go up higher, right? Trying to get her to follow it. Because right now, see how the nose is moving, like trying to figure out? Before she was just kind of like, what, you're sitting, right? But now since we've taught her to follow my hand with the nose, we can do other guiding, shaping behaviors, right? Or roll over, we can like turn the head and she can roll over, or go to an object, so like that placemat. We tell her place, she goes to the place, she gets food. So a lot of things like that. What else? That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you this. I've already broken them up to a decent amount of pieces.
Are those like what? Those aren't kibble trees, right? Those are different trees.
Yeah, they're not. It's not food.
Okay.
It's what is it? Freeze dried liver or something?
Yeah, beef liver.
That was she like? Cause we tried them. There's something that she's like.
Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah, we had issues with one treat. Or like it was going good, and she's like,
Yeah, she got enough of it.
Yeah.
Like there was points where she was like, knock it out of my hand. I don't want it.
But you know, we see the best results from like lunch meat. So she had lunch meat for a little bit. Then we ran out, and then like ham or turkey.
Yes.
Yeah, but then you would want to break it up to pieces. So I'm not even sure how many big pieces because they look big. So I'll show you. So they're big.
Okay.
Big. These are big, but then I broke them up into like little pieces, right? Because dogs don't thrive on like the little piece, right? Dogs don't thrive on how big the piece is, even though it must taste better and they're getting technically more. They thrive on repetition. So little pieces a bunch of times is better than one big piece. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when we're working with her at home, should we always have her on a leash?
You can, right? So, because you're guys doing quick training at home, right? Great.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's gonna be your best friend to avoid behaviors. But for me, I like keeping the leash on in case she gets into something. So like she starts like, maybe she's like licking the couch.
Yeah.
Then I'm assuming that licking is gonna turn into chewing. So I'll just pull her away from it, just like, you don't go on the couch. But you can keep the leash on. Like I said, if she gets into anything, you have that immediate, like, you can step on it or you can grab it just to stop her from getting to anything. So you can. But for training her, I would keep the leash on in case she gets distracted. She's like, oh, what's that over there? You have that leash to bring her back. Once you get these treats, and she's really digging today. But are you able to clip this on?
Go ahead. You're with her all day, especially.
Good. So what you're gonna do is when you hold a treat, I like to put it, and then I'll take one too. To show you better. I like to do this, right? Because then if I have it here or like somewhere here, her teeth aren't like gonna poke me. Because if I do this, her teeth are like poking my fingers. I haven't had that issue, so I think anything is fine for you. But I go ahead and bring it to her nose, and I move slowly. Yes, good girl. And I release.
Okay.
And then she always takes her time chewing, so you have to wait a little bit. But all I did was reward her for following me. That's all. I didn't say sit, I didn't say down. I'm not expecting anything fancy, just follow my hand. So if you'd like to try. Good. Good. And then you can drop the leash and you can just step on it if she decides to.
Should I just keep doing that one?
Yeah, you can just keep like, start off with just like walking, and then you can start doing like circles or like, really like moving her around. So here you start at the nose. So bring it to her nose. Good. And then move away. There we go. Good.
And then you like try the other things you said? Like
Yeah, you can
spinning?
move her around, be fun with her. Good girl. Good.
Good job. Oh, that was a slippery one.
And then what we can also do is use the lure to put her on objects. Because at first she wasn't a fan of this. So we had to start with baby steps. And now I think she wants to go on. Oh, she should go on.
Did I leave her on there?
Yeah. Good. And then once she gets all four paws, yes.
Yes.
And then the picture. Good girl. Okay. And then go ahead and lure her off the placement. Good. There she goes.
Yes, good job,
Good
baby.
girl. Good. And then I'll take a piece, I'll show you the pianos. Good. So now, Bailey. What we also can start doing is like maybe like put it down. So like, you practice down, I think, right? She's had a good jig down before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then from here, instead of just rewarding for the down, right? I would reward for her removing from the down,
Okay.
right? So if I go, bring her to the placemat, good. Release word from places, break. So I'm rewarding her for moving away from a command, so that it's not only like, because if she was struggling with this, for example,
Mhm.
she's only getting rewards for it when she goes on, and she's gonna get bored because she's like, well, I'm not even getting on here, so I'm not getting the tree, so what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
But then when you come off, she gets another reward, so reward. She keeps being engaged because she knows that so many options can get me this food. So I'm really gonna be really engaged with these things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here, just a poke. Good. She's like, good, you can go ahead and play with her some more.
Okay.
You can start luring her to the down in place.
Can I do down on here with her?
Yeah. And then what you can also do is you bring her to her nose and put her back to a sit if you want. And let me know when you're running out. Pull up. Good.
That gentle leader, she doesn't mind her.
Yeah.
And should I tell her to get up?
You can just like be excited, like use the food. If you want, you can start with the food from her nose and then bring her off.
Would you like tell her to break?
You can, because I mean, this is just luring, because we were just guiding her there. We
Okay.
didn't say like place. It's
Okay.
just, come here, here's the food, good girl, we're just playing with her.
Okay.
So it's nothing like strict, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Good girl.
She's cute.
She's super cute. Good. But this is, what we created as well, is the sitting to say please.
Okay.
It's called the Learn and Earn program. So anytime she wants something, she used to sit for it, because sometimes, I mean, she was already pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But usually sometimes puppies like jump, bark, bite, they're, I want it, right? It's
Yeah.
like, it's impolite. So here, anytime she wants something, we said, yes, good girl, we just saw sit. We saw that sitting position.
And you just
So should I reward this?
Yeah, you can, because then you're telling her, I like what you're doing,
Yeah.
you're remaining calm, you're watching me, but you're also being patient about it.
Okay.
So anything you like, you can reward.
Okay.
Good. And we can go ahead and switch if you want.
Yeah.
But that-
I'll try to.
Let's go back to my Easties. So this is like the brain thinking, like, what if I'm on place? Do I get the reward? What if I lay down? Break. Yes. Good job.
Striking full.
Hmm?
Striking full.
Wow, that would be work. And that's another thing, just like keep in mind how long the sessions are. Just, you can fill her up, and then again, we didn't have any issues with potty, but some puppies, if you gave them too many treats, they start having diarrhea because it's there's too much.
Yes.
But again, we didn't see anything from Bailey like that. She was always fine.
Now with the trait crate you guys did, obviously when she was out of the crate, she had no issues, right?
No.
Because that was one of the issues that I would have with her before we brought her to you guys.
Potty?
She was fine in the crate. I would take her out in the morning. Sometimes she would pee and poop outside, but she would still come inside and pee.
Mm-hmm. It's most likely, so she was on a schedule here, so come in 7, no, come in 6.
Okay.
They let out all the dogs, like around 6:40, 6:30 is when they start feeding. Feeding again, and then they crate them in the front, and then at, I think like at 8, they let them out again for playtime.
Okay.
So at 8 is the start of the schedule, not 7 or whatever, 6 or whatever, it's 8. So every 2 to 3 hours, or maybe it was 3 hours or 2 hours, I can't remember what they said. 2 hours, it'd be a potty run, right? If she peed and pooped already, then she gets to play. But if she hasn't pooped yet before playtime, or peed yet before playtime, she doesn't play. Because then she's gonna have an accident in the playtime.
Right.
Let's say she does do all her stuff outside, and then we put her in the playpen. 15 minutes in playtime, we run her out, and we put her back in the playpen, because usually 15 minutes after the puppy's playing, like, you know, their stomach's moving around,
Yeah.
and they have to go. So, again, 15 minutes, and then at the end, because the play sessions are just like an hour long, we'll keep doing it. After the hour, run them out again, and then we put them in the kennel. We only give water with their meals, unless it was like a hot day. Like if she went for the walk, then she'd get water because she's hot. But it's only ounce per pound, so it's very little water. It's not free water, free food. It's all specific. Because if we are giving her too much water, then there's going to be an issue with the water. Because then the few signals is like clear urine. If it's clear, overhydrate. It should always be like a yellow, like a darkish yellow.
Okay.
But I'll go ahead and forward you like her potty schedule for you to like just
please.
follow through. What time does she usually go out first for you guys?
So by like 7, 7:30 is when I would let her out.
Okay. And then you feed her after, so like
I fed her at about like 8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
So then your schedule will start, I start at like 9.
Okay.
So 9 the schedule. So let's say 9 happens. So let's say you do 2 hours. Because she's how old again?
She was born in March, so April, May, June, July, August.
5 months?
5 months. Yeah.
So she should be able to hold it for 5 hours.
Okay.
So you can start 3 hours for 2 hours. So crate, right? And then 10 is the next outing. So then you let her out 10. Once she's peed and pooped, okay, now you can come over here. So the issue with come over here guys and come out the crate, you can hang out with the family. The issue with that is that sometimes owners think that like we want to keep an eye on Bailey. So anytime you think she's smelling or anything, right, pick her up, but put her in the crate or outside until her next outing. So 10 a.m. hits, you let her out, she's good, okay, come over here, play. She's playing, but then you're like, oh, she knows she's gonna go. Pick her up, put her in the crate, wait till the next outing, because then you're telling her hold it.
Okay.
Because she's not gonna go in the crate. She's never gone in the crate for us.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, I
Yeah,
have
she
to go.
never had issues in the crate at home either. It's just when she's out, free.
Yeah. So put her in the crate, and then you wait till 12, right?
Okay.
Then you let her out. Let's say she has to go really bad and she can't help it, and then she goes. Let's say at 11:30 she goes. So you have 30 more minutes to your next outing. You would wait, leave her in the crate for 30 minutes until 12, and then you take her out, and then you potty, and then you clean her up, and clean the kennel tray and everything like that.
Okay. But you'll send me the schedule she was on here?
Yes. Right. Just so it's consistent still.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a little cute little thing that you just wanna, you're cute, man, with her, she knows what to do. Good girl.
Oh, yeah. I like her little moments of just like that little run she does like that.
Yeah. That and Paul, she's like trying to.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, she's very fun to train, she's good.
I'll try one more.
No.
Any other questions?
No, that was.
Did you know the schedule? That's what I got.
Yeah.
You can send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I just throw this in?
Yeah, you're fine. What is like your like everyday life look like? Like, you guys work from home or?
I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm home all the time with her. The kids, we have 3 kids, they're
Okay.
home all day, but they're gonna be going to school starting next week.
Okay.
So I'm a little concerned because she would get anxiety without the kids, I noticed, especially on walks.
Like separation anxiety?
Yes.
Okay.
If I went on a walk with her without
Yeah,
the
she wouldn't wanna go
kids,
far.
she would pull back to the house and cry.
But with the kids?
With the kids, she's fine.
Okay.
So I'm a little concerned for when they're in school.
How far next week?
One's starting next week, and then the other 2 are starting the week after.
Okay. I would definitely try having more separation. It sounds awful for the kids, but like, what?
Yeah.
More separation, so creating her more throughout the day and just giving her space from the kids.
Okay.
And then doing walks by yourself, or like maybe bringing one kid, or not everyone, just so she's used to it. But usually it's very simple. It's just because when that happens, because you're not even a gentle leader,
Yeah.
is this if she starts pulling back and she's like no, just keep moving forward.
Okay.
Because dogs can only resist or go into like that mud mindset for such a long time that they're like, okay, I have to walk. Because that happened to me when I was raising my puppy, before I was like into dog training and everything. I was walking her and she was like tiny, and then at the halfway in the block, she would just stop. Like, no, I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, whatever, it's a puppy. And then eventually she kept doing it. She's getting older. I'm like, dude, I was like, I want to go for a walk.
Yeah.
So I continued walking, right? And she's like this, and then she's kind of like screaming, like, right? And then I'm just going, and then she's like, okay, and then she goes.
Yeah.
And we did like blocks, and then ever since that day, it was easy.
Yeah.
So it's just continue your movements if there's like any resistance, and then gently is definitely going to help you with that.
Okay.
What else? Any other questions?
Before you email, if you have any questions, right?
Yes, and then 2-week board train. I think you guys get. Let me check real quick. I think you guys get. I'm trying to see how much follow-up you guys have, or do you know?
I think it was either 5 or 4. That was it.
You guys did 3 hours of follow-up time.
Okay.
So if you want, I think you can use those follow-ups as like a Zoom call, so you can travel here. If it's just like about potty stuff or like other stuff that I don't really need to see baby for, you can do that Zoom. So just to save the time and everything. Or if you're like, hey,
I do want to have the one session with the kiddos.
Yeah. The next session could be with
Yeah.
the kids, and then you can save that last session, that 1 hour,
Yeah.
for anything else. But just save it, just like in case you need a kayak, just to save you that one. What else? Anything else?
Yeah.
But it's pretty easy stuff with the training. It's just, again, just playing with her, and then just putting her into those positions. Like in the videos, you'll see what I'm doing, the down, the sit. Rollover is a fun one. What else?
Bats. That's fun. Bats.
Oh, bats?
She loses
Yeah,
it with the
she
bats.
loses it with the bat. So is there any way to like kind of get her to, other than just giving her bats over?
We're practicing like luring her in with a treat.
It's gonna be the street food. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried peanut butter and she's just like, she licked it. As soon as she heard the water, she did not care about peanut butter.
Yeah. What's, so it's, what is it, in the bathtub, so like the water?
Bathtub, outside, I mean, she just water,
Oh, just water?
Water in
just
general,
water in
yeah, she doesn't
general.
like water.
Okay.
I mean, if I sprinkle water on her, she's like,
So, I think what I did was, or what we, owners are supposed to do is do stuff, fun stuff in the rain. So as soon as I saw it raining, we're going out right away. And then she was kind of, what's going on? But then I bought the ball, and she's like, oh, ball. So she was kind of unsure what was going on because it was getting wet and everything. She's like that, she can't see, right? She's in the rain.
Kids
And then
love
she's
that, yeah.
Yeah, she was like playing ball and everything. So then she's like, oh, okay, our rain isn't that bad because we still do stuff. So the next time it like drizzles or something, take her for a walk, and then bring some treats with you. Just give her throughout the walk treats. Make it really like, whoa, I'm getting turkey. I never get turkey. It's also raining. I hate the rain. I get something, you're a fan of
something good, yeah.
So I would start maybe with the rain, or like get a sprinkler and just like walk her in the sprinkler, giving her treats. Sounds funny, but just do a lot of positive stuff. In the bath, what does she do?
She just
tries to, I have to like hold her down while I'm watching her.
Okay.
She just
As
tries to
if she'll
stay.
jump out.
Doesn't get aggressive or anything like that.
No,
She
she
just tries
just,
to
you can tell
stay.
she's just scared.
She just freaks out.
I'd probably just like fill the bathtub up for a little bit, turn off the water, then put her in,
Okay.
and then like food.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Now, I do have one question. Do you advise against dog parks?
I do.
Okay.
And so like,
I wanna make sure, because there's a dog park near our house
I don't like
and
when they
But I
go
get
down,
it.
like, man, it gives me anxiety.
yes.
I get it because I know
Because you can
other
control
dogs
your
might
dog.
not be trained.
And like,
But she loves to play with puppies, so I'm like, we don't have any.
you don't have like the small, like there's like, usually they have like a big dogs and
No, it's
then,
all just,
oh,
It's
all of
just,
them in
yeah,
one.
it's just all one, and it gives me anxiety, dude. Like,
I
just
just-
watching
I
all
don't-
those dogs.
I know that there's risk.
And it's not so much her, it's just, like you said, you don't know other dogs.
So how would you recommend, if there's no other dogs around us, having her socialized?
so socialization is a lot of stuff. So that's a common thing, like socialization is when dog play with dogs, right? Socialization is when maybe you go to the dog park and you sit outside of it and then you just have her watch all the dogs play.
Yeah.
That's socialization. Take her to Home Depot. She's really good at Home Depot.
You can take her to Home Depot?
Yeah, they allow dogs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, take her to Home Depot, let her hear the noises, see other dogs, don't let them interact, but just like getting her used to, there's dogs here, but you're also teaching, you don't need to play with every single dog.
Yeah.
So, socialization is a lot of things, it's not just play, it's just seeing dogs in general, that's good enough. Then when she's older, and even then I still advise against dog parks for the same reasons, right?
Yeah.
But as she gets older, maybe you can find like a dog best friend, or like, have a neighbor, or, yeah. Try to see if you can find someone who will actually be close with Bailey for a while.
Okay.
But like I said, there's nothing of the ordinary for socialization. She's really good, she's super playful. She'll never like lose that,
Right.
It's usually, like, we've also had puppies, their first day here, they go in the corner, they're just like this, like all the puppies, and then the puppies will come play with them, they're just like, no. And they're a puppy. Owners like, my puppy's supposed to play, why is my puppy not playing? It's genetic, it comes down to genetics,
Yeah.
right? That they got that puppy straight from the litter, right? Usually an owner was like, oh my God, they probably hit their puppy, or like the puppy's been abused, right? But no, that's just him. So it just took him time, and us to vouch for him, like if any puppies got too rough, then we correct that puppy, like, just give him time, right? And eventually, now he's the rough player in the play groups. So it's just, all puppies are different, all dogs are different. But like I said, just the simple walking past a dog park is really good, and that's good enough.
Okay.
Do you
So I
guys,
feel bad, she wants to go in and just,
do you guys against letting the dog like go on beds and couches?
It's, that's one of the other things, like a lot of trainers have these specific things, like no beds, no couches, all these other things. It's just like, it's just gonna happen. So it has nothing to do with anything, unless there's like a behavioral issue. It's like a dog who's like a bully to the family, then that's like an issue. Or like sometimes dogs resource guard the bed, like, this is my bed, don't tell me to get off.
Yeah,
That's an issue.
I guess that's what I was more concerned about, her getting to a point like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen any signs of it at all,
Mhm.
but just as she gets older, I don't know if it's just like,
And you can practice, you can put her on the bed and then just push her off, like be physical, dogs are physical animals. So the more physicality we are, like the corrections,
the more it makes sense to them.
the more it makes sense and they understand it, and then they toughen up too. Like they're not soft, or they understand, like they understand their own language. And then you also want to be, correcting when they're young, because again, when they get older, and then if you wait till they get older, and we've had that issue before, where they get big, and then the owner wants to correct them or fix, like do e-collar training, and the dog's like, "You're trying to discipline me now? I've been doing this for 3 years."
Yeah.
And then that's when you'll see like,
So start working on it now.
yeah.
Because one thing I did notice with like the couch, like if she was on the couch, she didn't want her on the couch. So when we try to get her off, she'd do this biting motion. She wouldn't ever put her mouth on us, but she'd do that motion so I think he would get a little, especially with our kids, that she
Yeah.
would actually one day bite them when we're correcting her and telling her to get down.
Yeah.
And I guess that's more of just her understanding, because it might just be her playing.
It could, because she's up there, she
Yeah,
has the couch
exactly.
playtime.
Yeah.
But I don't think if you want, it's your house or rules. You pay for the dog food, you pay for the training, you pay for everything. So if you're like, no, I want a dog on the couch, as long as you're able to tell her, get off the couch, and she gets off, you're fine.
Yeah, with me, she'll see me, she'll go.
Yeah.
She's like,
I like cuddling her on the couch.
And so, but that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's the thing, as a puppy especially, it's like.
Yeah, always think of whatever she's doing now, just imagine that 8 months or something. Whatever.
How big do you think she'll get? I mean,
I'm seeing dogs.
She's 5 months?
She's 5 months. See, people look at her paws and say she's gonna be big. She's
I don't think she'll be that big.
I don't think she'll be either. It's 5 months, she's still kind of.
She's biting her leash.
Get that serious, because she looks at you like, ooh.
Yeah. She also is familiar with that noise, because we do that here in the facility, so she's like, I know what that means.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
So, I'll be right back. I'll go get the box for the gentle beer. Let you guys take a picture and everything.
He's texting me. You're accusing me of hitting CJ. I did not do it, and grandma's out. Let me go to my room and just want to be alone. I don't let her go to her room. Should I say to tell grandma I said to let you go to your room?
It's probably because she doesn't want her to go to her room. That's energy. Man, good. You gotta use Come here, baby.
Please.
Place.
Please. Good girl, baby.
I got small.
Small.
Oh, so you got a
See, I got a
medium.
medium,
Yeah.
that's why it's.
Oh, this is the one we had, this medium.
That's why.
Okay. Yeah. So we will have, well, when she's bigger, we shouldn't need it.
No.
I know some owners who use the gentle leader when their dog's over a year. There's bigger ones.
Okay.
It's just personal preference, and it's also depending on the dog.
Okay.
Some owners gentle leader works wonderfully. Some owners gentle leader doesn't do anything. Because again, it's not a correctional tool. It does not fix behaviors. It's just controlling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What else? If you're ever interested in progressing your training, so like e-collars or prong collars or whatever, you can always reach out to us.
Yeah.
That stuff usually starts at 6 months, just because that's when in nature where other adult dogs start treating those puppies as adults, so they're able to understand that much pressure.
Yeah.
Because the prong collar is very different from
So starting at 6 months, you said?
Yeah, starting at 6 months, 5 months, around there, 6 or 7, is when we can start the little big girl training for Bailey. And it's not only for like misbehaved dogs, right? It can just be for more control.
Oh, we would want her trained just to make sure we never have an issue
Exactly.
in the future.
What else? And you're always welcome back to our daycare and everything, you know, if you want to just, you know, have some fun with some puppies.
Yeah,
you know,
I think that's
We're probably gonna do that.
definitely do that, like maybe once.
just to keep up with socialization.
Yeah, yeah. Give her like a little.
What would you
time.
recommend, like once a month?
Whatever works for you.
I mean, I'm home, so I can drop her off anytime, but like
Daytime.
playtime.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, whatever works for you, whatever your schedule's like, if you know, you can bring her in a month if you want, or like 2 times a month, or whatever works for you.
Okay.
What I recommend is, I mean, we see dogs like they're like once every 3 months or something, and then they still know. Bailey will always remember this place
Yeah.
because she's already been acclimated to it. She knows what happens, play, food, training, these familiar faces. So she already knows this place. So I wouldn't expect any like regression.
Right.
If you like wait a long time to come back, she'll probably be like, oh, these people again,
Yeah.
these puppies. But yeah, it's just personal preference for how often you want to bring her to just experience like
Playtime.
structured playtime. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
And if you're ever interested in that, you would go ahead and because you have Kim's email, right?
Mhm.
You would let Kim know. She'll hook you up with the like daycare bundles and stuff like that.
Okay.
What else? Any other questions?
I think we're good.
So
Should we take this off? Right?
yeah.